Hey, I'm Nancy Knowles. Um, you can call me Dr. Knowles or Professor Knowles, but I prefer to be called Nancy. I am teaching the Writing 329 grant writing class this term, and I'm excited to welcome you to participate in it. Um, I'm just going to run through some introductory materials. Um, I, I'll tell you a little bit about myself. Then I'll take you into Canvas and show you the Canvas course, and then we'll take a look at the syllabus together. So it's just typical um, week one introductory information. And you can view this video, or you can just read through the transcript of it, or you can figure that you know some of this stuff already and skip it, your choice. Um, so I have been writing grants for over 20 years, and I'm tracking my own grant writing. So I'm headed toward $1 million. I think right now I'm at 990,000. So I'm getting close, and I have a bunch of grant proposals that are out under consideration. So who knows, during the next few months, I may actually hit my mark. Grants in the sciences at the university, in the university setting, can often be in the millions of dollars. They often are. But grants in the humanities and the arts are often smaller. And I feel like I've been chipping away at this goal for, kind of 20,000 here, 10,000 there, 5,000 there, 2,000 there, for a long time. So anyway, I'm kind of excited about that. I have a lot of experience, particularly with local, regional, and state grants in Oregon, but I've also supervised students working in other states. So I hope that you'll be able to learn from that background. And anyway, I hope you'll find it fun and that it adds something to your life. So in this class, students work as grant writers. Everyone will have one grant project and we'll work on it from the beginning to the end. And to do that, the end being the submission of the grant, at least giving it to the community partners. So students will find a community partner. These community partners are typically 501c3 nonprofits that are eligible to receive grant funding. Sometimes they're state organizations or tribal organizations like schools. Occasionally, students want to work with a church group, like a collaboration of churches that are putting on a food bank. Grants for religious organizations are sometimes trickier to get, but there's still a possibility. So I would encourage you to think about nonprofits you already interact with that are in your backyard and are of interest to you. Of course, you can reach out to a nonprofit that might be an organization kind of aspirationally, something that you'd like to work with in the future or know more about. So feel free to 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 create kind of like a list of the potential community partners that you might like to work with and start asking them if they would like to have somebody volunteer as a grant writer for the next few months. Um, we will be taking weeks 1 and 2 to get the community partner piece pinned down. So you have some time to think about what you'd like to do and act and figure out how to get a hold of a partner. If you need me to to set up a partnership for you, I'm very happy to do that. I work locally with Art Center East and have worked with the Eastern Oregon Film Festival. I know they're eager to do some grant writing. I was contacted by a colleague who is affiliated with the Salem Women's Football Association. So a new to me organization, an athletic organization that is interested in having a grant writer. And so I have some options if folks are unsure what they'd like to do, that is their idea, right? So if you don't quite know, I'm happy to to get you in touch with people, or to, if it's the art center, I can set you up with a grant project to work on right away. So let me share my screen. I'm just going to go into, hopefully, let's see. I think hopefully I'm in the right place. No, that's not it. Let me go back. I gotta on the back end, find what I want to show you. Okay. And get it set up properly. Here we go. Yeah, I always find it kind of annoying when people say, okay, I'm going to share my screen. Well, that's what I tend to do because it gives me the time I need to get myself ready to go. Okay, so here is our class in Canvas. This is the, what do you call it? The student view. So you can kind of see hopefully what you'll see inside Canvas. And obviously, if you're looking at this video, you're already in Canvas. My contact information is right there on the landing page. I am especially grateful if you will contact me using the Canvas inbox because I'm really bad at email. And what happens is email just dumps in new messages on top of old messages, and suddenly I can't see the students that have contacted me. But the Canvas inbox is for current students only. So your messages will leap to the surface. I will see them right away and be able to get back to you in a timely manner. You can also, of course, email me. You can call my office phone during office hours if you like, or you can leave a message. Those those methods of communication work well if I somehow have fallen off a cliff and am not responding to the inbox. I do have office hours in Loso Hall. I'm Loso Hall room 146. If you are a campus student or you can come to campus or you're visiting campus, you're very welcome to stop by. Mondays 1:30 to 3, Tuesdays and Thursdays 10:30 to 11:30 in the morning. And then if you want to make an appointment, very happy to see you physically in person, in the flesh, so to speak. Or you're very welcome to set up a phone or Zoom appointment, and we can talk about materials or whatever else you want to talk about. I'm also happy to talk with students about I don't know, career path and graduate school and things like that. So tell me, just let me know how you'd like to meet with me. I'm very happy to do that. So I wanted to talk just briefly about the benefits of grant writing to students. I think I have a list in here. Maybe it's in my week one. Let's just go see. Yes, right? I want you to work on a real grant this term because if it is successful, it will be your gift to the community you are operating in, and you'll have an item for your resume, yay, of a successful grant. So employers will know you have that skill set. Um, Students every term or so, every year or so, have been successful in earning grant funding for their community partners. And it's very exciting when they do. So I also am trying to keep a list of the students that have been successful. So I hope if your grant gets funded, you'll let me know and I'll add you to my list. The other benefit for English writing majors, you may not be one, but if you are, so many of us often feel less skilled in quantitative literacy. We're good at qualitative, we're good at gab and telling stories and writing and all that, but oftentimes we feel a little flummoxed when we're facing a mathematical task. So in this class, I want to say this is one of the only quantitative literacy moments in the English writing major. So we will be using a project budget, to tell the story of a project. And I hope you'll find that to be useful and enlightening and another tool to have in your skill set. I have written budgets now in my career for 30 years, and I'm glad that I know how to do it. So anyway, I hope that you'll find benefit in that. Okay, I also wanted to say just a little bit about working with nonprofits. They are nonprofits, right? They're not geared toward making money. They're geared towards spending their money on the community and giving services away often. So they never have enough money to go around, which means they never have enough time. They are often very busy and they may be difficult to work with, even if everyone is well-intentioned and behaving well, right? So sometimes you may contact a community partner, you make an arrangement to do a grant draft for them, and then a month later you can't get a hold of them. That can happen. It's the real world, and stuff happens in the real world that's harder to control than in an academic setting. So just know that I'd like you to stay in touch with me about how things are going. And if your community partner is suddenly become invisible or absent, we will work on a phased process where we'll kind of say, okay, we'll give them another week to get this information to you. And if they don't do that, we'll transition you into another mode of operating. Usually what I do when when the community partner can't, is too busy or has a life crisis or something like that and can't work with you, usually what I do at that point is, like, create a fictional grant writing environment. So you're still producing a grant draft and you're producing it for a real funder, but we're making the stuff up that we don't have enough information to cover. So anyway, so that can happen, and it's a safety net for us, in that we have real things and real deadlines that we need to do as well. Okay, so I guess what I'm going to do now is sort of walk you through the Canvas setup. Obviously, this is the landing page. It has my contact information on it. It will also have the top 3 or most recent announcements that I've put out during the term. So you can see them and find them and know what's going on. I use the announcements feature when I need to broadcast something to the class as a whole. So there may also be a way in Canvas where you can set up notifications so that an announcement will generate an email message if that's an easier place for you to find it. But I'll let you figure out how that works best for you. If you check in frequently, you'll be able to catch the announcements as they arise. Okay, so the course is set up by modules. There is a sample documents module in there. I'll just go in and show you what it looks like. I have a couple of old grant proposals in here in case you want to see what a grant proposal looks like. So there's a Wild Horse Foundation grant for those of you who are in Eastern Oregon and are working with organizations out here on this side of the world. You may like to seek a Wild Horse Foundation grant. They are very user-friendly, and I would highly recommend it. But there's the original RFP, the request for proposals that was put out. There's the application, there's the grant proposal itself, and the budget. So if you want to see, for example, what a budget for a one-day event looks like, and how it can be set up, that's a sample that's there and available to you. There's also an Oregon Community Foundation grant that I wrote for a partnership of 3 nonprofits. And it was a 3-year project. So the budget is more detailed and complicated, and as are the other documents. So you have the original RFP, the application, the grant proposal, the budget, and also the budget narrative. Sometimes budgets are complicated and they need more information about how the dollar figures are arrived at. So that is there for your use. I also, in case you are interested in like a grant that has a business letter format, there's a Herbert Templeton Foundation grant there as a sample as well. In addition, there is a common grant application sample. Wouldn't it be brilliant if every funder had the same form? Like med school, you apply one place and then you can send your application wherever you want. Well, that's apparently what sometimes happens on the East Coast, but has never in my grant writing life happened. In case you want to look at what a common grant application looks like, there's a sample there as well. Okay, so back to the modules. Usually I have modules week by week, but because weeks 1 and 2 we're sort of trying to pin down our community partner, I've just sort of put everything for weeks 1 and 2 into the same module. You'll see there's also the week 3 module available. That's the first week where we have a writing assignment. So I wanted that to be available to you in case you have a community partner already arranged and you're ready to go. You can work through weeks 1 and 2 quickly and jump into week 3 as needed. So each module has an overview that tells you what to do, right? Here's the overview for weeks 1 and 2. This video will be housed here eventually. And then the work is here, right? So during the first 2 weeks, you want to find the textbook. It is in the EOU library. And there's a link to it, so you can have a look at it. I'm not quite sure if you have to sort of be signed into the library to access this online book or not. So you might get into your email and get into the library through the your Mountie Hub. I don't know. If you have trouble, though, you can always contact the library by phone or chat and ask them for some assistance. There's a link to our paper syllabus here, and also in Canvas, the activities will generate a list of deadlines that you'll be able to see. You will only be able to access the assignments that are available in the modules for the weeks we're working in. So anyway, so I don't know how helpful that will be, but it is there. The instructions about thinking about a community partner are there. There is a week 1 self-introduction discussion board you can participate in. Once you know which community partners you want to approach, there is also a partner letter that is something I would like you to give to them so that they will know what the deal is. In agreeing to have you write for them, that's all you're doing. You're writing a draft and you're going to give them a draft and you're going to give them a revision, right? And you'll need some information. So you're not going to submit a grant for them. Money is not guaranteed as a result of this interaction, things like that. So anyway, the letter is there. If you would give it to them so that they know what to expect, that would be helpful. And it would be helpful also if you keep them apprised of your deadlines. So they may not be able to help you in the span of time, but if they have your deadlines of things you need, maybe they'll be able to deliver by the time you need them. The other thing I'd like you to do by the end of week 2 is update me about your community partner. That is who you talked to, who you agreed to work with, la la la. And the goal would be to have that by the end of week 2. As I said before, if you have your community partner identified early, you're welcome to move into week 3 and work there. Okay, so let's see. Yeah, I'm just trying to make sure I said everything I'm supposed to say. I talked about sample documents. I talked about our textbook. Okay, so there is also for this class, well, let's look briefly at week 3 so you can see the slightly different overview. Oops. Sorry. Here we go. Overview. Right, so weeks 3, 4, 5, and 6 have lectures and exercises attached to them, as well as readings from the textbook, related readings. So you'll see how this is set up. There's a lecture and a video version. If you want to listen to me talk through things, it's there for you. Or you could just read or skim through the written lecture, either way. Then there's some reading from our Grant Writing for Dummies textbook and the exercise assignment. Also, I'm going to be asking you to put materials into a shared Google Docs folder. That is, you and I will share that. And that's a place to put like links to websites, copies of brochures, newspaper articles, photographs, stuff related to your community partner and to the project they want to fund, as well as, once we get to funders, information about the kinds of funders you're finding. So it's just a place where you can drop a bunch of stuff, and I wish you would, because the more of what you're looking at that I can also access, the better I can help you identify like existing information that might be useful to you and how to use it. So the Google Docs folder is for that purpose. I do have some minimum expectations for that assignment, which are in the assignment itself. You can look at them. But by week 7, I will score whatever's in there. And if there's more that needs to be added, you can go ahead and add that. The exercises are usually have questions, and they have a form for you to fill out. Um, the there's more questions early on, and they get maybe fewer and longer answers later on. So anyway, this is the first one. It's about the organization. It asks for their contact information, a bunch of kind of like small, often publicly available chunks of information, their mission statement, their history and accomplishments, struggles, partnership, board of directors, qualifications of staff, that kind of stuff. And then each assignment has a part 2, which asks you for some reflective or knowledge-based kind of questions. Here, I'm kind of wanting to make sure that you know a couple things that were covered during the week. And then there's just information about how the assignment is assessed. And once the exercise is assessed the first time, you'll kind of see how scarily I do math, and that's what results in the score. So each exercise is 100 points. And if you submit it on time, even if it's incomplete, you don't have to worry about missing the 10%. There's a 10% penalty for lateness. You don't have to worry about that if you submit it on time, even if it's incomplete. I would rather know where you're at with an incomplete exercise than to have a perfected exercise 2 weeks too late. So the 10% penalty is it happens when after I have provided feedback on the exercise to others. So I'm not really overly interested in the minute of the deadline. I don't care about that. At 11:59 at night, you don't have to email me worried about being late. But if you take the time you need, take another couple hours, go to sleep, get back up the next day, finish up what you want to do. That's fine. But I would say within a couple days of the deadline, you want to have your exercise in, just to make sure that it's in the pool of exercises that I'm scoring. So I want to score them all at the same time. So usually what I do is I give it a score, I give you feedback, I ask for a revision, you give me a revision, I change the score, and we keep going back and forth as you are learning to do the work I'm asking you to do. And it is a learning process, so don't imagine you'll get full score on your first exercise. You might, who knows? You might have good contact with your organization, you might have all the info you need, you might feel confident. And you might be doing great, but you also might be really scared and have anxiety, and your community partner isn't answering your questions, and that might be the situation. And if that's true, never fear. Just turn the thing in as best you can, and we will work with it. Okay, so now let's take a look at the grade book. So this is an opportunity for you to see how I'm scoring things, so that if you want to do a revision, you can. It also is an opportunity for us to begin a conversation. Like, I don't know, I'm not perfect. I could have made a mistake about the score, or you maybe don't understand the feedback I'm giving you, and I want to start a conversation around the grade book. So please know, revision is expected, questions are expected. Please contact me using the Canvas inbox and let me know what you need to know. Okay, so I guess I'll go to the syllabus. The sort of like paper syllabus is here. Maybe. Yay, there it is. So again, the typical information at the top, contact information, etc. Textbook. The learning outcomes for this class are aligned with our English writing departmental outcomes. So these are things we hope students will achieve by the time they graduate. You'll have some content knowledge related to grant writing. You'll be seeking data particularly related to your target population and the problems that your project is addressing. So you'll be doing some research. Obviously, communication, where it's a writing class. Critical thinking, you'll be analyzing and synthesizing evidence. I want to say there's also some creative thinking involved here, in that you'll be generating, some of the stuff you'll be generating will come out of your imagining of the project and imagining of the target population need. So there'll be some creative work necessary for you to do the writing. You won't just be like a conduit for language from the community partner. You'll actually be inventing some of the ideas in your documents. This is civic engagement because we're hopefully donating our work to our community partner. Integrated learning means that we're integrating strategies across disciplines. So I would say we're definitely working across the disciplines of communication, and potentially sociology and maybe education, and we're connecting it with maybe our own experiences, life experiences and educational experiences, and also maybe integrating that quantitative literacy piece that is unusual for English writing classes. So that's that. Um, we will be using Canvas. We will be using Google Docs, and hopefully you'll be contacting me via the Canvas inbox. If I need to if I need to contact you directly, I often use email. I'm under the impression that maybe that's better than the inbox sometimes if I need to get a hold of you, but you can tell me whether that's working or not. Okay, so I already talked about the 10% deduction for lateness. Okay. Where did Carnegie system. So the Carnegie system helps us understand the time commitment demanded per credit hour. So usually the expectation per credit hour is 3 hours per credit. This is a 2-credit class. That means 6 hours per week and 60 hours total by the end of the term. It is a 2-credit class, not a 3-credit, not a 4-credit. I feel as if it's a lighter weight class than some of your other English writing classes. There's one textbook, there's one assignment per week once we get launched. I think students find this class more difficult if they are late in submitting things. So keep up. If you do find you're experiencing anxiety about the class and that is creating a barrier for you, just talk to me. I will be very happy to show you that it's really going to be all fine. So, and if you find you're doing a heck of a lot of work and it feels like you're way too busy, another reason to contact me so I can help lift some of that from your shoulders. Okay. If you run into a problem with meeting my deadlines because you're having some kind of crisis, an illness, an emergency, or some other extreme personal issue, I recommend contacting Student Affairs and letting them know, because what they will do is contact all of your professors. So it's like a one-stop shop. You tell them what's going on, you provide whatever documentation you want, and they will let your professors know what's happening or some version of what's happening. And if that happens to you, I'm not at that point going to impose a 10% penalty, because the goal will be to try to get you through the class despite this crisis that happened. Anyway, so that's that. Okay, so the assignments for the class are, let's see where I want to be. Oh, there we go. Let's look at that. So the assignments are the Google Docs folder, which I've mentioned, the exercises, which I've mentioned, the grant proposal, draft, and revision, and at the end of the term, a reflection. In addition to that, we have some participation on the discussion board around the materials. Initially, it's just sharing the exercises and having some casual conversation around them. I think people feel like maybe they have more confidence in what they're doing if they can see what other people are doing. So you're helping others by sharing it. And if it seems like you're all feeling like, oh, I don't know what I'm doing, then you have each other to find consolation with. Eventually, when we have a grant proposal draft, you'll be giving feedback, constructive feedback on the draft to help the writer, and also to practice your analytical thinking skills associated with the grant proposal writing. Okay, so I think anything else I want to say about that? Okay, one other thing I need to talk about, and I think I'll go back up here. So information literacy works differently in this class than it does in any other class because language associated with the organization, the community partner, is you can use that language. You are writing in the voice of the organization, and if you have an old grant proposal, or you have website language, or you have an annual report and you're pulling language from that stuff, it does not need to be cited or even attributed to anything, right? Because you are speaking in the voice of the organization, you are welcome to use that language. It can be cannibalized for your project. However, I, as your teacher, will need to know which language is coming from where and which belongs to you. And so the Google Docs folder is a place where you can put all the documents you're referencing in the language that you're pulling, and you can help me see how you're using it. That will allow me to see how much you're doing. Like, you can't pass this class by turning in an old grant proposal to the same funder with just a few words changed. That's not writing. That's not a practice that is useful to you. So it has to be that you're patchworking together and reconfiguring and massaging old language and adding your own flair and adding your own structure and all the bells and whistles that will make your grant proposal much better than anything they've ever done. So, but I as your teacher need to know that differentiation doesn't need to happen in the document. Okay. So, however, when you use external source material like census data or food pantry data or things like that, you do want to attribute the data to the source so that the funder knows it's credible statistics. And to do that, instead of using like MLA or APA citation format, what you'll do is simply use an attribution tag like according to the U.S. Department of Education, according to the U.S. Census, according to the Oregon Food Bank, etc. Right? So the attribution tag, like a journalist would do, is the way you indicate the credibility of your source materials. And again, as a teacher, I will need to see where that stuff is coming from. I'll need to have a link or a copy of something. And then you can share it with me, and then I can help you with your integration. Another piece of this is quotations, right? So you have to be good at paraphrasing the information into your own words, right? So you can't use quotations because they impede the flow of the grant proposal. So you want to change everything into your own words, which means you and I need to have eyeballs on the original source material and the new language to double check that it's all working well. Because integrating source language into your document without quotations is plagiarism. So we're just dealing with the normal issues, but in a different way. Okay, and the other thing I need you to know that you may know, and you've encountered this in other classes, it is cheating and plagiarism to use artificial intelligence as a substitute for your own writing. This is a writing class, so you are showing me your writing skills and the work of your brain, your talents. And I don't care about what AI can do. I care about what you can do, and I want to help you improve it. And if you don't use your own brain and your own writing skills, then you will be wasting your money. So just remember that. If I do catch someone using AI, I will let you know. If I catch you doing it, or I find it in a document, or if I have questions about it, I will let you know. I also have to let the university know if it appears that something was done intentionally, and I would say AI use is a clear intentional plagiarism moment. So anyway, I don't want to deal with that. I hope you don't either. So let's just work on your writing and making it the best that it can be. And I will very much enjoy doing that with you. I want to say that this is a class where I learn a lot. I learn a lot about your organizations. I learn a lot about you and what you care about. And I learn a lot about the funders that are out there and the differences across state lines. If you are operating in a different state, I have supervised grant writing. I have written for grants in California. I have supervised grant writers in Idaho and Washington, I think. So anyway, if you are, and maybe Texas, maybe Colorado. Anyway, I have supervised in other states, but it helps me come up to speed on the regional and state level grants elsewhere. So I'm very grateful to you for teaching me about that. And I will look forward to doing all of that together. With that said, I hope you have a great first week of classes, and I look forward to seeing how your grant projects will emerge.